So here's basically the first business journey of my building my trucking business. So 2007, I went and just bought a truck at an auction and started working. So that was the very start of the my trucking business. And I put on there, we did a roughly $150,000 there in the first year. And and so, yeah, I put a note on. I was trying to do it all on my own and slowly kept building it. I bought a second truck, and then by 2010, we were about $500,000 in revenue per year. And then closer to 2011, that's where I really needed to find help. Otherwise, I was going to stay stuck or go the opposite way. I was not still not making any profits, and I was out of money, having trying to figure out how I want to pay myself to even buy groceries. Those couple years there, me and my wife were talking about that the other day, where we only took in $40,000 a year there for 2 years. And so, as you know, $40,000 doesn't go very far these days, or even back then. And and so that's when I reached out to an investor, and here Ellen asked me a couple questions. How did that investor even be interested in my business at that time? And what I shared was, I told him the vision. I told him I wanted to set up another branch in Grand Prairie, and I saw huge potential on the LTL freight business. So he liked the LTL freight, which LTL freight stands for less than truckload freight. So hauling skid freight, smaller stuff, or more shipments on one truck than just a full load. And so with that, he was intrigued, and literally, I told earlier, the next day he transferred me check or money over, and we were partners in the business. And I made a little note here where 50% of businesses fail actually in the first 5 years. And so it's a number where, yeah, so many businesses fail actually at this point. And I think there's a lesson in here. If you're trying to build a business and grow a business bigger, yeah, what are the options? I always share the investor option is what I know, and I know how well it worked out for me. So I kind of keep sharing that experience. And then 2012, we hit 5 million in revenue, and we also started the branch in Grand Prairie now, and that just gave us a lot more customers and added a lot more revenue. And at this time, I was trying to figure out some things in business, and we're still really struggling on building our team and all that. And I ended up hiring a business coach at this time. And I think that coach, sometimes we think, well, we'll hire a coach to coach us in business, but he coached me personally more than anything, where he got me to start reading books. He wanted me to read at least one book a month, and he really kept me accountable for that. Every meeting I would have to report on exactly how many chapters I had uh, read in the book and all that. And but we worked on other things. He started for to walk me through a vision sheet and really build out my vision, what my personal vision was for the business, and even my personal goals and stuff. And then 2014, we doubled the revenue from over doubled it from 2012 to 2014. I just made a note. Oil field work was very busy, and we were gaining a lot of traction in the LTL freight business. And then 2016, we had Just one sec. I see another person is joining us. So yeah, in 2014 and then 2016, we had a little bit of a drop, $2 million in revenue, based on basically economy was slowing down, and so we had to figure out how we're doing it, going to do it when the revenue comes down, and but then it started picking up again, and by 2018 we hit 16 million in revenue. So this was a new record. But the one thing here that was the hardest time that I had in my business was we lost $1.3 million that year. I had to literally borrow private money to make payroll. We had 100 employees. It was a super stressful time for me in my business. And I personally wasn't sure if we were going to make it. And I made the note there, we almost failed. And I knew I had to make a decision and do something differently. It was complete chaos in our team. I felt like I had completely lost control of our team, and everybody was pulling in different directions. And really, what I came to see was it was my own issue where I didn't have a clear vision for our team to follow. And that's where the EOS system came in. EOS stands for an entrepreneurial operating system. And we implemented that EOS system. And this is where Hector comes in. He helped us really put that all together in our business, and he's going to share yeah, all the different measurables that we set up for our business and how we started to track data and all that. So I'm excited to hear him speak on that today. And yeah, EOS to this day, I say was something that saved my business. Yes, we went down in revenue by well, 4 million here by 2019, and that was mainly due to COVID, and and so the revenue went way down. But we had started implementing the EOS system already, and we're actually ready for this downturn where we were managing our costs and all this, and we had a better view of everything what was going on. And so once past 2019, we started picking up again, and 2020 was yeah, we reached 14 million again. But what was different this time was now we had a clear vision and a motivated team that was working and pulling us all in the same direction. And that's really what got us to 2022, and we hit another big record in our business of doing 19 million in revenue that year. And with that, it was I always say we were at that level, and I had it never easier in my business from the very beginning, where everything seemed to just work so much better in our business. And so yeah, and that's where I ended up selling the business, and who knows what would have happened after that. But Hector, I thinks we would have gone crazy way further yet. But yeah, that's kind of my business journey. I thought it might be helpful for some people to see what it took to build a business from scratch all the way to that level. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hector.
Excellent. Thanks, Willie. Can you leave this on for a minute? Because I
For
had
sure.
I had all kinds of topics around scorecards and metrics to share with the group tonight. But watching this timeline just brought me back to the challenges that you face as you're scaling a business. And I'm going to share how this ties to data review in a minute and the principles of the importance of data. But I want you to look at that 2019 graph, right? You go from 2016 to 2018, 9 million to 16 million. So you doubled, right? But
Mm.
that's when I came into the business. And I remember that $1 million loss. And I remember sitting in a group with you and the other shareholders, or not shareholders, but the stakeholders, the directors of the business at the time. And we had one document that we sat and reviewed. It was our profit and loss statement. And so for any of you business owners that are sitting on this call tonight, you might think, well, yeah, I have a profit and loss statement. I review it. It's presented to me by my accountant or my team. Well, the one that we reviewed in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter in 2018, it had shown that we were already on track to lose that $1 million. And I looked across the team and I was like, guys, like, yeah, no kidding. With this report that we're looking at is from 3 months ago, and we're just getting it now.
Mm.
So who here goes out, decides they're gonna jump into their vehicle? Alvin, I see you're a truck driver. Like, will you jump into your truck and drive it with your eyes closed? Right, you wouldn't do that, right? So if you're operating a business today and you don't have access to your data, your P&L statement, how do you know how you're doing? We had no idea. By the time that we saw our numbers, we were already so into the year, we had already spent almost $1 million and wasted it, right? And so it's important for us to understand data is so critical, and EOS comes in at that timeline, and the principles of EOS teach us, there's 6 key components, and one of them is data, and I'll hit on that in a minute. But as we got really good at reviewing and actioning our data, it allowed us to scale to that 19 million. But revenue is one number. And most business owners will talk about the revenue. Profitability is what really matters. I don't care if
Mm.
you're making 19 million or 100 million, how much are you taking at the end? That's the real number, right? And so 19 million, and we were over 20% EBITDA, right? Earnings before taxes and interest. That's the number. That's what really matters. And profitability. So, how did we get there? We got there through data, understanding that data has the power to engage and empower your people. Without it, you're just running and driving blind, absolutely blind. Another analogy that I always say, and I don't know how many of you play or like to watch sports, but imagine watching last night's game and we would have just seen the Oilers go back and forth, up and down the ice, up and down, but we never would have seen anybody like win or score. How would we have known that the Oilers had won? Right? We wouldn't have known if we didn't have a scoreboard. So thanks, Willie, for sharing that information. That's so powerful and meaningful to highlight the importance of the journey that you and Willie's Trucking and everybody that was part of that team took place, and the great memories that we had as building that back end of the business was. So I'll excuse me, I'm going to jump right into our teachings tonight, which was around our specifically data reviews in your business. So if today you're struggling to create your flywheel, you're struggling to create momentum, it is not because of lack of vision, potentially, it is lack of strategy, right? And how do you create strategy? You need insight. And insight gives you action, action gives you results. So what I'm talking about is you have a vision, you know where you want to go, you think you know how to do it by executing X amount of tasks, but those tasks need to be quantified by data and results. Meaning, if you accomplish a task, what did it yield? Did it mean that you hit your sales target? Did it mean that you hit your productivity expectations? Right? Without knowing that, how do you know the action to take? How do you know if you should keep doing that or if you should stop doing it? You don't, right? And so therefore, you don't know what your results are. So understanding the quality of the data and the management is so important because it fuels sustained operational excellence within your business and your teams. I heard James say just as he came on, oh, we've been firefighting all day. I love that. Just for me, man, like that's like music to my ears. It's a problem to solve. Let's go solve it. I want to know the data points. I want to know what do we got to solve, right? Who or what did we mess up on, right? And so that we know what actions to take for the next corrective behavior. So, that talks to about recognizing the signs and recognizing the pain points. So, we've talked about scoreboards, dashboards, and like check-in processes, and we talked about that last week. I know in EOS we talk about having a weekly check-in with key performance indicators in that check-in. So you guys might not know, well, what's a KPI? What is a key performance indicator? That is a number that lets you understand how you're doing. So an example of one could be sales per week, right? How many sales did you do this week? That's a key performance indicator. It tells you if you're on the right track or off that track. Another one could be damages this week, right? You're in the overhead door business. How many damages did your guys do when installing it? How many free work do you have to provide because of lack of clarity or lack of following instruction or lack of care, right? So there's an example. I also heard, Martha, that you're in the multi-level businesses, right? And so that could mean like, how many people did you lose this week? Or how many people did you gain in your team this week? So that's what a KPI is. So you need to structure a board or a dashboard that has a KPI, 3 to 5 of them, very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. 3 to 5 of them that are the key numbers that you want to see every single week for your business. Okay, that's step one. Once you know what those are, you've identified them, the next step that you need to do is identify who's the best person to manage or report out on the KPI. Who's the subject matter expert on your team? In the overhead business there, you might have your operations person might be the best to know what your revenue per man hour is, because they'll know how much labor they spent that day and how much revenue was made, right? So you might want to assign a KPI for that person. A sales number might be your salesperson, right? So assigning subject matter experts to your dashboard is the next step. And then the last step that you want to implement is a target, right? What are you looking to do? Is a win a one goal, or is a win 5 goals, right? Like, what are you looking to achieve in order to say that you've won? And you now have a weekly template to implement with your teams that does 2 things. The first thing that it does is that it provides them information of how your business and how they are performing, both the business and their responsibility. And the numbers 2 thing that happens is that you've empowered them. You've empowered them through data to now make a decision. They can make a decision to make that number improve or do nothing, and that number stays the same or worse, right? So that's the goal of setting up a scorecard within your team. And now you tie it in with a weekly pulse meeting. We call these the L10 meetings. You can call them your weekly check-ins, however you want to call them. The point of that meeting is turning data into conversations. So let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. Then those conversations lead to decisions, which are to-dos. You're going to do this, Bob, because that number was green or it was red, right? And that to-do now is a commitment. That person now walks away with a task and an attachment to getting that to-do done. That's what we structure these meetings, and these align priorities and track progress within your business. Okay. So now I'm going to get into some pitfalls and how to avoid them. So I've been part of many teams. I've been part of many good ones, and many bad ones, right? And I can tell you some of the bad ones overload their scorecards. I've walked into organizations where they're like, oh yeah, we got scorecards. Here's our 50 weekly KPI review. And I'm like, great. Why do you need 50? Because when you have that many, how do you know what to focus on? Like, that's too complicated. Nobody knows what they're chasing if you're trying to chase everything. Pick 3 to 5. It doesn't need to be more than that. Keep it simple. The second one is misaligned metrics. That means that you have a sales target goal, but you have you have sales target growth goals, but you have no growth in people goals. Well, how are you going to support the growth if you're not actively looking to recruit and grow your people, like grow the team? You cannot scale up in revenue and not scale up your people headcount. There's a correlation that has to happen. So you need to be smart about that and not have them go the opposite way. Okay. So that's another area to watch out for is misaligned metrics. And the third one that I want to share with you tonight is one that you may have heard out there. It's called analysis paralysis. And this is when people look at numbers and they analyze them to death. They chop them up in 20 different directions, and then they still don't take action. They look at them and they're like, well, what if we do this? That's going to be the outcome. But if we do that, that's going to be the outcome. And ultimately, they do nothing. And therefore, they never get ahead, right? So, analysis paralysis is another one of those pitfalls that you want to avoid. Okay. So tonight we talked about structuring your scoreboard with KPIs, with KPI owners, with a target, and the frequency of every single week to review your performance. Now, tonight, I'm going to give you a cheat code. I'm going to give you a trick that I'm going to challenge this group to implement in your businesses. Okay. This is an easy one. You tomorrow go to your team and say, guys and ladies, we are going to start a huddle. This is a 5 to 15 minute meeting, an investment that you're going to do with your key people in your organization. So, James, you have field supervisors or you have foremen that are out there. Martha, you have team leaders in your organization as they're out there growing. Alvin, I don't really know too much about your business, but I'm going to assume that if you're an owner operator, you have other drivers and you must have some people there on your team. So I want you to reach out to these people and say, folks, starting next week, Monday morning, we're going to meet at 11 o'clock every single day. We're going to have a call-in number and we're going to review these 3 metrics. Performance, productivity. I want to know what accounts we've accomplished today. So in the overhead door business, are we on track to meet our daily planned routes? Are we on track to meet our labor performance expectations? And do we have any quality concerns for the day? Are we going to miss out on any routes? Are we going to have complaints? Are we going to have any issues by the end of the day? Three simple KPIs, and each of you can structure it how you want to do it from a KPI perspective. And this huddle is a quick 5 to 15 minute check-in that will allow you to review previous day's performance. How did we do yesterday? Did we win? Did we accomplish what we sent out to do? Did we ensure that everybody was on time, that we had no injuries, that we had no misses, that we had no complaints? And balance a day. By 11 o'clock, you will have accomplished your morning tasks. You will know if your teams are on schedule or off schedule, and you will know if they need help or need pivoting to adjust the day to complete their expected tasks. Okay. So if you do this every single day, you will have accountability within your team because they're going to know that every day at 11 o'clock, they got to show up and report out on their numbers. You're not going to be the one telling them how they did. They're going to tell you how they did. They're going to tell you what they accomplished. And that is when you're going to get true momentum and true engagement because you're going to win the day, which results in winning the week, which results in winning the month, which results in winning the quarter, which equals winning the year, right? You see how it gains momentum. So that's a cheat code that I would love for all of you entrepreneurs and leaders to implement ASAP. It's super simple. It's not complicated. It's not like you need to go to your accountant to get you the P&L. And you might say, man, how do I start this without the data? No, it's simple. It's simple. How many hours of labor did I forecast to spend today? How many will I spend today? How many did I spend yesterday? Was it on budget or was it off budget? Very simple, right? Did I have any complaints that I had to go back to and correct? And now I've got a $0 revenue visit that I have to account for, right? Did I lose a customer, Martha, right? Did somebody off my team quit when I wasn't expecting them to quit? Did they maybe not bring any sales? Why did they bring no sales, right? And so that's the simple cheat code you could implement starting Monday, and you will start to gain traction in your business and ultimately engagement and accountability. So that's the sort of messaging for tonight. And I want to say that remember that data allows for people to be curious, ask questions, be disciplined, and keep your business moving forward. Traction is earned, it's not given, and people respect what you inspect. If you don't question the data, people will assume you don't care, and you're going to get the I don't care results, right? So check out the course that we dropped last night. You're gonna learn a lot more about how to implement this and how to really leverage it for your business and for your teams. And so I'd encourage you to log back into our course content, go through that. It's a brand new course. We just put it up last night. So that's what I had for tonight, folks, and love to open it up for some Q&A.
Wow. I have taken 3 pages of chicken scratch notes. I don't even know if I can read my notes, but well done, Hector, and well done, Willy. One of my mentors used to say that he would like to, he always strove to give more meat per minute than anybody else. And I think you guys have given us a boatload of much meat per minute tonight. I don't know if I could even kept up with it now. I know about now. Let's just take a pause and welcome Cecilia to the call. If I hope I'm saying your name right, Cecilia Usher. Welcome. Glad
That's
that
right.
you're with us. So and Cecilia, where are you from?
I am originally from Mexico. I live currently in Edmonton. Yeah, I was
Welcome to Edmonton.
Yes, thank you.
Beautiful. So now, if you're anything like me, you've got questions probably for Willy. You've got questions probably for Hector. I've got questions for both. I'm going to keep mine to myself because I'd rather have you guys ask the questions. I'll ask some if everybody's stumped, but I hope you're not stumped. Now, on a larger call, we would want you to click down on the bottom and put your hand up and raise your hand, and I would get to you and do that in some semblance of order. But I think with 4 on the call, we can just unmute and ask the questions as we want. Whoever wants to jump in and ask a question for Hector or Willy, who's first? Now remember, you only get out of this community what you put into the community. So engagement is so important for our learning.
Well, just gonna jump in here. Welcome, Cecilia. Ellen? She actually worked for us.
Wow. Well, that's pretty fabulous. So
Yeah.
she could substantiate some of those stories you were telling.
Yes, she would have all kinds of stories about Willy's trucking, I think. So welcome, Cecilia.
Thank you. I experienced everything you guys are talking right now, the accountability and the scorecards and all that. And I think, ever since I started working with that system, you really feel how the company takes traction and everybody actually starts moving forward. Yeah, and the people that are actually not moving forward, they stand out, right? Like you realize, okay, who's really not being part of the team and that kind of thing. So yeah, my experience has been awesome working like that. I don't think I could go work for a company that doesn't have a system like that anymore because I'll feel like I'll be lost.
Mm.
Yep.
Now that's a good testament right there. That is a good testament. That's a good testimony.
Yeah.
You ruined her, Willie. You ruined her for anybody that doesn't measure up.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Very good. No, awesome. Any questions? James, you got anything?
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess yeah, same idea. I don't know, Willie, when did me and you start the mentorship program? That was back in
Yeah, it's about 8, 9 months ago,
nine
probably.
months ago, probably. Yeah. So yeah, then I guess we kind of set up the 90 tool with the KPIs and tracking. I
Mhm.
was actually just looking at, I've been a little bit how should I word this properly? I've been too busy or too slack, one of the two, to fill out all my KPIs. But yeah, I guess the ones we're tracking is the cash on hand, which is a number to track, and then accounts payable, receivable. The I would say one of the biggest ones that have been helpful for us is the weekly gross revenue. Basically breaking it down weekly to try to hit our yearly target.
Absolutely.
Like you were saying,
And
we're every week so before we had just a simple program. Now after me and Willie did the the mentorship program, we switched over to a different billing program that tracks inventory and stuff. So for myself, every day, every morning when I get to work, I know exactly how much work has been billed, or how much dollar amount has been billed the previous day, how much is work in progress. So I could log in tomorrow morning and see exactly where we're at for the year to the day. Everything is tracked daily. I can see how much inventory we have and where our numbers are going that way. So that I would say that's been super helpful for us to track them, not on a monthly basis like we were before, but weekly, or even most of it's daily.
Excellent. Excellent, James. I think that's the key component is once you start to see data that's daily, it starts to prevent long drags of bad activity, right? And so that's where I shared about the huddle process. And I learned this at Pepsi. I learned it at an organization that ran very lean in their processes, and they were excellent at operational excellence. And I can tell you that in my almost 30-year career in operations, nothing has changed or moved the needle as fast as engaging and challenging people every single day with a number that they have to report out, because you will gain automatic accountability when they have to talk about errors and or wins that they're doing. They feel prideful when there's a win to report out, and they certainly feel, the stress, that they're going to have to report out an incident or a mishap or the fact that they're off track for that number, right? And the good people will feel it. The good people will say, man, like, I feel like shit that this is the number that we're reporting out today. The bad ones you'll spot out because they won't care. And that's when you then will know that is one that's not going to make it past this team. Because as we talked about core values before, that's your indicator. Those are your flags, right? Like those are the ones they cannot be part of this team. They don't care.
I love that you just said that, Hector. I wasn't on last week, but one of the questions I had in my mind when you were speaking about everybody coming to the daily and having this scorecard in this huddle, I thought, well, what's the discipline for a team member who doesn't show up for the huddle or doesn't bring anything of worth or value to the huddle? Because there's probably going to be at least one in every environment, or perhaps. And so what do you do with that person?
Yeah.
And
So
do you just say, sorry, you're not a fit for the team, we're going to fire you? Or is there a discipline? Maybe that I'm off topic, but
Yeah, no, absolutely not, Alan. This is a really good question. I view invitation to the huddle as a privilege. I view it as you're a leader, and because you're a leader, you're invited to this call to report out on the group or the department that you lead. Now, if you fail to lead correctly and you can't provide the, the momentum in where we want to go, then that's a private conversation afterwards where that individual is put through, performance improvement plans. Maybe they're not the ones that report out because they can't lead, right? And so it's somebody else that's reporting out. And that in itself becomes almost a disciplinary action, right? And so it's building the importance of being included into that call that's really critical.
I like
And just to add to that, Ellen, to your question, yeah, for us in the huddle, it was just a leader from each department that was reporting to that huddle call every day. So it's not all the employees, it's just, yeah, whoever's leading a department.
Okay, so then that makes me think of Martha, who's joining us, and she's got a team of 100. So does Martha invite 100 people to the huddle, or?
Yeah, good question. I would say no, because that would be a very lengthy huddle. I
Yeah.
would say, I'm sure that Martha has leaders in her organization. That could be like regional. It could be sort of bandwidth leaders that one group is larger than the others. And so it could mean that those 5 to 10 individuals that are really cascading her business, those are the ones that show up every day.
Well, that is the biggest struggle that I have. Like we're having Zoom call meetings Wednesday evening, Friday evening, and there are also the big meetings on Saturday morning. And I'm always on the meetings and nobody else is on the meeting. So like if they don't come on the meeting and want to learn how the business works, that makes it so hard for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that is things those are the things that I need to learn how to talk to them so that they want to be on the meeting. I am sending, we're on the WhatsApp group where I'm sending motivational video clips and stuff like that of the good trainers, but like they're not even responding to those. And
Right.
then I tell them, like this week, for example, I sent a motivational out and I said, watch that and don't call me before you have seen it. Nobody has called me yet.
Right.
And I said, like, I want you to watch that. That was a very good one. That had very good examples. And I want them to watch it so they would get motivated. And then I told them, call me and I want to do some kind of a contest between us. See who gets the most. And then the most motivated people, I called them and said, have you watched it? No, I haven't.
Yeah. So I would say into the issue that you're having, Martha, I'm sorry, I'm an ops guy and I'm a problem solver. So automatically I hear a problem and my mind goes to what solutions can I give you? Okay. So this may be something that could work, but I'm just going to spit out ideas for you. Okay. And in my experience, what I've seen in situations like this is that you need to create value in your time. So don't push that they should come to you. You showcase to them the success that you're having, the wins that you're having, but don't tell them how you're doing it. Just post, oh, another big win, another success story, another this, okay? And that's it. Create the curiosity for them to want to come learn from you. Today, you're saying, come learn from me, come learn from me, come learn from me. And they're saying like, well, why? Why? Why should I come learn from you? Don't tell them the why, tell them the wins you're having, right? Create their want to come learn from you through exclusivity. That means you only come learn from me when you do A, B, and C, and you are actually earned the come learn from me. If you don't, then everybody has access to you and you're no longer that special, right? So that's how I would challenge it, Martha, is that I would create a wall between those that can come talk to you and those that can't. And the carrot would be your wins. I just reached a new level. I just earned X. I just did this. This is what my team has accomplished, right? Hey, only those that are completing these tasks have exclusivity to meet with me Thursday night. If you don't, I don't have time for you. You're not good enough to be part of this.
That's awesome. That's so excellent.
That is what I was thinking already. I already thought I should make another group and just certain ones are on there.
There
To
you
make it
go. See,
much work.
that's just my idea. And again,
Yeah.
I'm just like I said, I like to solve problems, so that's how I would go about
That's
it.
good. That's
Martha's exclusive inner circle.
There you go. Right? That's right.
yeah.
And what
Well,
great
thank
advice,
you.
Hector. Thank you. That was excellent.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So Hector, I'm thinking you laid out a challenge for us and kind of a bit of a homework. So after the call, we got to do this, this, and this.
Right.
And I'd like you to repeat that so we don't forget it. But then my question is, how do we, or are we supposed to let you know once we've done that, or where do we go in the community to say, hey, I did the homework, I talked with my team, I created the huddle time, I let them know, and here was the outcome. Are we to do that in the community somewhere?
Yeah, Alan, a great point, and I love that you brought that up. Absolutely. So the challenge is let your team know that you have selected 3 to 5 daily KPIs that you're going to review starting Monday. 3 to 5. That's it. No more. Don't complicate it. 3 would be perfect. If you can get to 5 because you need it, that's okay. But just 3 to 5 KPIs with individuals who you're going to assign as the owners to report out the performance of that KPI, and you're going to give them a target, a daily target to hit. Okay. And you're going to review this every single day at 11 a.m. I don't care where you are in the world. 11 a.m. You're going to jump on the call and you're going to report this out. And Willie and Cecilia will know that this is something that happens in every single one of my teams. It doesn't matter what company I'm at, what organization, it happens every single Monday to Friday. We're doing these calls, right? And if I can't make it, I have assigned a backup to facilitate that call, right? And so that's what we're going to start doing starting on Monday. And you're going to come back in onto the community and you're going to share with us, what are your findings? What are your people saying? What are you learning? What are you liking and what are you not liking about it, so that the community can build off of what you're doing. So that's the challenge, and that's the review platform. Again, I would still encourage everybody to go watch the videos, go see the tutorial that we dropped last night. That is going to help you implement this challenge and this cheat code, because trust me, it's a cheat code.
So I see that Willie put a link in our chat. And so if you open up your chat, you'll probably notice there's a little something there. Willie, is that where we go right after this call to begin to do what Hector has challenged us with?
Yeah, so some people aren't in the community yet that are on the call, and so that's the link to sign up if they actually want to sign up and become part of the community.
Oh, we got to have you in the community. We want to see you in the community. That's where it happens.
That's it. That's it. Excellent.
So Hector, another question. He said,
Sure.
we give each person a target to hit. Are we, as the leader, dictating that target, or do we have their involvement and we negotiate that target kind of as an agreed thing together?
Yeah, I would say at the beginning, it is certainly one that the leader can come up with, because you know where your vision is and you know where you want to go. As the measurable becomes either too hard to attain or too consistently achieved, and it's like an easy one all the time, now you're going to collaborate with your leaders to move that KPI's target. You could increase it if it's too fluffy, or you can decrease it because where you thought was attainable, your field staff is telling you you're out to lunch. Like, it's not doable. You're telling me I can do this job site in 15 minutes. Dude, it's X, kilometers, or it's this many square footage. Like, no, it's not going to work, right? And so you got to bring it back to earth, and you tweak it. That's where the engagement and collaboration piece come in. But initially, as leaders and owners, you have a vision and you have a target that you're going to challenge with.
And James, I was just thinking about your business. I think you're doing kind of like this huddle every morning before they go out the door, right?
Yeah, so we have so every Monday morning we have we call it a weekly safety meeting, but it's basically just going over the previous week.
Mhm.
But
But
basically every morning, what we've started to do that I find has been very helpful for especially my install crew more than my service crew is to inform them if they're going out to install, for example, a 16 by 16 door. What I've been finding is if they just leave the shop, this is our assignment for the day, they'll probably suck up the whole day, right? But if I
Mhm.
tell them, hey, there's this many square feet, if I take and take the invoice amount divided by my hourly rate, and I tell them, hey, I've allowed 6.75 hours for this job,
Yes.
9 times out of 10, they will not suck up 8 hours or 10 hours on that job. They'll be back in relatively. So this morning, the guys just got back from doing a 3-door install the other day, and I told them, you guys have 30 hours to do this job. And the lead installer himself, he came in this morning and he said, well, I calculated all the hours. We were at 27.5 hours. So he was
Love it.
he was happy, right? And I was happy.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
made more than right.
Yeah.
So I feel that's been very helpful for us to basically just give them a timeline of this is what's expected for this
Mhm.
specific job or task, I
it,
guess.
and what
Totally.
I was just thinking, wouldn't we have really never worked on doing a daily huddle, but would that not work for your business quite well as where they had to actually, or the lead hand had to call you at 11 and say how they're doing on based on the hours?
Yeah. So for me, I don't know if there's maybe a reason for the specific time, but I would agree to not break up 10 o'clock coffee and lunch, even if it was a 12 o'clock quick, there's maybe something about the 11 o'clock, I'm not sure, but for example, especially if you have two guys on a crew or, the helpers sitting there while my lead guy's on a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea to, and usually what I'll do is I'll just check in, over the lunch break and say, hey, we have a group. How's the battle? How are you guys making out? Where are we at? Are you going to be done by then and then? But yeah, that's
The
definitely a key point.
I think one thing that Hector talked about, what really stands out, where you put that on to them to report to you instead of you reaching out to them, and
Oh,
that breeds also huge accountability to that.
mm, flipping the table,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Love it.
Yeah, that's the
Anything
interesting
else
thing.
to add there, Hector? Oh, you're on mute there.
Sorry. To add the time for me adds value because it still allows time for crew leads to plan their afternoon. In specifically service industries, you generally have that break at lunch and then you get into the afternoon task. But what if you still have to adjust your materials and or you have to add more people to your job sites? Just why I like 11, and I've seen that it works because of that. You've already completed the morning, and so if you're off track in your morning accounts, and so now it gives you time to adjust for the afternoon.
And so what does that check-in look like? Is that a simple message, WhatsApp message or whatever saying, hey, um, we've got this and this done or what,
Yeah.
like what kind, is this a very lengthy conversation? Probably not.
No, it's not. It's a 5 to 15 minute quick conference call. And it could be like, and I don't know the size of the business, but let's assume you have five crews out in the field. It's your 5 crew leads that jump onto a call and yourself and or your lead hand or the person that runs your business, your operator, and that person facilitates it. And it's like, all right, guys, here's your KPIs report out. Boom, boom, boom. Where are you? Okay. You on track? Do you need any help? Oh, I noticed that's not going to finish up well for the day. Who can support this individual who's off track, right? And now the team collaborates and comes up with suggestions and ideas to really win the day. So 5 to 15 minute max. Everybody goes out and strategizes on how to win that afternoon. That's all that it is. Think of it as a football concept. Everybody huddles, the quarterback calls the play, everybody knows what they need to do in that next play, and then they go and execute it. Simple.
So good. So good.
Right? You know, I don't know if Cecilia's still on the call.
Yes, I'm here.
Cecilia, you could probably speak a little bit about the huddle. You've seen this through the last few years, both at Willy's and in the other businesses that you've seen with us.
That's right. Yeah, so basically, yeah, like you said, it will be depending on the attendance. If it's a group of just your five key people that has to report, each one of them just go over whatever issues happened in the previous day and so far in the morning. And then you will talk about if you have any wins, right? Like, oh yeah, we completed this specific project yesterday. It was closed, no issues. We receive really good feedback from the customer, that kind of thing. And then, yeah, if you have actual fires that are happening, you talk about them. You can brainstorm if you need help and order and ideas, and or you talk about your action plan, right, for the day or for those specific fires.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I was going to add was, James, when you flip that where they're reporting to you instead of, reporting those KPIs, they all of a sudden start getting all kinds of ideas how they can solve different issues before they even come issues for you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's definitely something we could, I mean, this Monday morning, I sat down. So to answer your question, Hector, we're not a huge crew. There's 5 of us, including myself, on a truck. So there's two crews with 2 guys, and then myself on another truck, and we have my daughter's a admin person at the shop. So,
Awesome.
but basically it's kind of split up a little bit. But there would be probably the 2 lead guys plus myself that would be on that call if in that case.
Excellent. Then that would take you no more than 10 minutes a day, like no more. Right. And then you could totally strategize game plan for that afternoon. And then tomorrow, and then the next day you're reviewing, did we accomplish what we said we were going to do yesterday? And that's it. And you just continue to repeat that venue. And I'll tell you, yeah, you're going to see the momentum that it'll bring to your teams. What I
Okay.
would say, James, I would love to see you in action, and like, let's go Monday morning and like you jump in the community, you tell us how it went, and I will gladly jump onto one of your huddle calls and help you establish it.
Beautiful.
Mm.
That's worth
Very
it right
good.
there.
Yeah.
That's worth it right there.
Yeah.
That's if I'm smart enough to use Zoom.
Oh, we can make it happen. We could do Google Meets. It's easy. All
Hey,
right.
if you can spell Zoom, you can use it.
That's it. That's it.
Well, we
Excellent.
probably want to honor time, gentlemen. I'm maybe kind of assuming, and we're a little bit past the hour. Hector, I got to tell you, I love what you said. This is kind of a great summarization. Data leads to decisions. No, you said data leads to discussions.
Yeah.
Discussions lead to decisions.
That's right.
Decisions lead to do's, and do's leads to done.
That's right. Exactly.
That's a good one.
That's it.
I'm going to quote that. I'm going to put your name on that. You'll read that in a book I've written, but I'll give you credit where
Strategy to insight to action, and action to results. That's it. That's your flight plan, guys and gals. Get that done and you get some results.
So our biggest stress right now is if you're in the community and you're part of the community, get in there and be Monday morning and start to chime in, and tell us about what happened with your check-in. And if you're not in the community, get in the community and engage with us in there so that we can help you there as well.
Excellent. Alan,
Willy, any last thoughts from you?
That is everything for me. You bet.
I had 10 questions for you based on your story that you took us through the timeline, but that'll be another day. Hector, any last parting words from you?
No, just encourage everybody to jump on the community platform, engage in it, ask questions. I'd love to help you out, but I can't if you don't ask questions. So
That's exactly.
that's how I'll leave it, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, if you got a problem and you're trying to solve it, you're part of the community. Leverage the community.
Right on.
Sounds
Martha,
good.
thank you for joining us. Great to meet you. Celia, thanks for joining us. Nice to kind of meet you. I don't get to see a face. And
Thanks.
James, glad to meet you. Thanks for being with us. And then we had Alvin. Well, you're gone, Alvin, but we love you. See you next week. Have a great night, guys.
Yeah,
Right on.
take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.